What's up, everybody? Mr. G here, another episode of Mr. G's Math Videos. In today's episode, we are going to be learning how to multiply decimals using the standard algorithm. If you remember the last few videos, I taught you how to represent multiplication with decimals through a hundreds grid, and now we're just going to be learning how to multiply using the standard algorithm like we did in whole numbers. All right, let's go ahead and jump right into today's lesson. So, we are going to be using 4 steps to help us remember how to multiply with the standard algorithm. So, the first thing that we want to do is set up our equation. Now, when we set up our equation, we want to put the part that has the most place values on top. So, if you look at our 2 parts or 2 factors, 12.3 has 3 place values. It has a tens place, it has a ones place, and it has a tenths place. 2.4 only has 2 place values, the ones place and the tenths place. Since 12.3 has more place values, we put that number first. Step number 2, we are just going to multiply like normal. We're going to pretend this is 123 times 24, and we're just using our strategy for whole numbers, many zoos, many animals. So the first thing we're going to do is multiply the 4 to the 3, 4 times 2, and then 4 times 1. That's going to give us a total of 492. Then we're going to go to our next part, zoos. That stands for 0. Bring the 0 down to the ones place. And then we're going to shift over to our 2 and multiply again. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. We get a total of 2,460. And then animals, the A stands for add. We are going to add those parts. 2 plus 0 is 2. 9 plus 6 is 15, so I would shift my 1 over. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus the 1 we shifted, that gives me 9. And then 2 is by itself, so we drop that straight down. So if this was a whole number, my answer would be 2,952. But since it's a decimal, the last 2 steps, we are going to have to deal with those decimals. So the first thing that we do is we look at both factors and we count the number of places that are behind the decimal. So in 12.3, I see that there is 1 place behind the decimal. In 2.4, there is also 1 place behind the decimal. So altogether in both factors, there are 2 places that are behind the decimal in total. Now keep that in mind. Again, 2 places behind the decimal because we need that number 2 for something. The last step is in our product, that's our answer, 2,952, we are going to be shifting the decimal to the left 2 times. Those 2 times, those 2 numbers that were behind the place value, we are now shifting to the left 2 times, and it looks like this. So we start on the right where the decimal is in the 2, we shift once, we shift twice, and that puts my decimal right after the 9. So the answer is 29.52 or 29 and 52 hundredths. All right, let's take a look at another example using our strategy. Remember, set up your equation. The part with the most place values goes first. We're going to multiply like normal. Then we're going to count in both factors how many places are behind the decimal. And then we're going to use that number to shift our decimal to the left. And again, we go to the left because we're multiplying decimals. Here's our word problem. Mr. G bought 3 apple pies for $10.67. 6, 7. How much did the apple pies cost in all? So we want to think to ourselves, what is this problem about and who is it about? So Mr. G is buying apple pies. He buys 3 apple pies. Each apple pie costs $10.67. And then we need to find out how much he spent in all. So, what is this problem about? It's about money. Okay, we're looking for the total cost. So we ask ourselves, do we know the total? No. Do we have equal groups or repeating numbers? Yes. So if we go no, we don't know the total, but we do have equal groups, we are going to multiply. So what does that equation look like? $10.67 times 3. Let's go ahead and solve it. 3 times 7 is 21, so we shift the 2, drop the 1. Then we go 3 times 6, which is 18, plus 2, that's 20. Shift the 2, put down the 0 in our answer. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 2, that just makes 2. And then 3 times 1 is 3. So notice we've multiplied just like we would if these were whole numbers. Now what we want to do is we want to count the places behind the decimal in each factor. So we look at 10.67, and I realize there are 2 places behind the decimal. In the number 3, there are no places behind the decimal because 3 is a whole number. So that means we are going to be shifting our decimal to the left 2 times. So we shift it once, we shift it twice, and the decimal ends up behind the 2. The answer to our question is Mr. G spent $32.01 for all 3 pies. All right, so you have seen 2 problems done, and I've worked through those steps explaining each step. The last one is going to be yours to attempt. So I want you to pause the video, look at those questions at the bottom, see if you can answer them, do the work on scratch paper, and then unpause the video, and we'll go through your answers together. All right, go ahead and pause the video. See if you can come up with your answer. Okay, you've done the work, you've asked the questions. Let's see how you did. Ella and Emma wanted to determine the weight of 5 boxes of crayons and 3 erasers. A box of crayons weighs 326.3 grams, and eraser weighs 33.6 grams. How much do all the crayons and erasers weigh? So, in our first read, who is this about? What are they doing? It's about Ella and Emma. They're buying boxes of crayons and some erasers, and we need to figure out the total weight for all the boxes of crayons and all the erasers that they buy. So, what do the numbers mean? They have 5 boxes of crayons. Each box is 326.3 grams. They have 3 erasers. Each eraser weighs 33.6 grams. Is this single step or is this multi-step? Well, based on all the numbers that I see, 5, 3, 326.3, 33.6, there are 4 numbers in this problem. That tells me this is a multi-step problem. And remember, in multi-step problems, there are always things we don't know. Our job as mathematicians is to ask the question, what don't I know? So let's start with the crayons. There are 5 boxes of crayons. Each box weighs 326.3 grams. What don't we know? I don't know how much all the boxes of crayons weigh. I need to figure that out. Then I think to myself, the erasers. There's 3 erasers. Each eraser weighs 33.6 grams. What don't I know? Well, I don't know how much all the erasers weigh. And then finally, how much do they all weigh together, crayons and erasers? So, if we need to find out how much all the boxes of crayons weigh, and there's 5 boxes, that means there's a repeating number. We just have to multiply. 326.3 times 5 gives me a total of 1,631.5. I only had to shift my decimal 1 place because there is only 1 place value behind the decimal. 5 has no places because it's a whole number. Then I need to figure out the total weight for the erasers. There's 3 of them. Each one is 33.6. I don't know the total, and there's a repeating number. I'm going to multiply 33.6 times 3. I get 100.8. Again, there's only one place value behind the decimal. That's in 33.6. So I only have to shift my decimal to the left one time. Now that I know how much how much all the crayons weigh and how much all the erasers weigh, now I need to figure out how much they weigh together. Well, since I don't know the total and there's no repeating number because they are different, I'm going to add my two parts. 1631.5 plus 100.8, and I get a grand total of 1732.3. All right. How did you do on that one? That was a multi step. 3 steps in that one. So that was a little tricky. But remember, if you're asking those questions like we have in the bottom of our screen, you'll be able to figure out what to do. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up. That's using the standard algorithm when we are multiplying decimals. Just remember, it's exactly like multiplying normal. The only thing we have to do extra is count the place values behind the decimal for each factor and then shift our decimal to the left in the answer to that multiplication problem. That's going to do it for me. I appreciate everybody watching. Hopefully this video helped you. Remember, if you want to get better, just keep practicing. Do a couple problems every day, and after a week, y'all will be experts. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Drop a comment down if these videos are helping you, or if you'd like to see any other videos on different topics. Hit that subscribe button so you get notifications anytime that I release a new video. And that is going to be it for me, Manta Rays. Until next time, keep on mathin'.